What inspired you, the team, to make a book creator?
The original founder who built Book Creator, his name's Dan as well. It's Dan Amos, and he his son has dyslexia. So, do you know what dyslexia is? Anybody?
Like it's a learning disability. Right?
Yeah, it makes it really hard to read, and so Dan and his wife, they found that his son Wilf, he was about 8 or so at the time, maybe a little bit younger. He was having trouble reading the books that were coming back from school. And Dan had the idea that, well, what if we could make our own books for Wilf to read? And then we can make them in a way that he would be able to properly read them and go at his own pace, and that he could put their own words in, and maybe he could even write his own books. So that was originally who he wrote it for, is for his son. And then we found that all sorts of other schools and other teachers wanted to use it with their students. So we put it out there, and everyone started using it.
How did Book Creator get like noticed by the public?
Well, it got noticed, like I say, when teachers started using it. Teachers are really good at telling each other what apps they like and what works well for them. So that was one thing. So we found that teachers would tell each other, and then we also found that Apple really liked the app. So Apple put it on all their iPads when they were giving iPads to schools. Most of the time, Book Creator was already on there. So with their help, everyone started learning about it, because Apple obviously is huge, and so that was really helpful for us.
How were the features like the drawing, the recording audio, and Book Creator were made?
That's a good question. So I have to get a little bit technical with you. I had to go to our engineers to ask about this, and I'll try and explain it in a way that makes sense. So essentially, some of the features, so like recording audio, it's actually something that is provided by the web browser. So if you're using Google Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer, whatever you use to get on the internet, they provide those tools for you. And then we have to write some code, and we use a language called JavaScript for that. And that will tell the browser that we want to use that feature, and then we can put it into our app. And then other features like auto draw. I don't know if you used auto draw, so where you do a little drawing and then you can choose the image that you think fits the drawing that you're trying to draw. That's built by Google, and we just kind of get to put it into our app because we work with Google. And then some of the other features like magic ink or the shapes and so on, they're literally hand coded by our team. They write all the code to make that work, and I honestly don't know how they do it. It's magic.
Have you ever had a Zoom with a class before? If no, why did you choose our class?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, I haven't. I have never done a Zoom with a class, and no one's ever invited me before. But I'm really glad that you invited me. And the reason I chose your class is because your class made the most perfect Book Creator books I've ever seen. So I need to talk to you and find out how you did that, and learn from you guys.
Great, thank you.
What got you interested in the company Book Creator, and what made you want to work there?
I really didn't know much about Book Creator when I started, if I'm honest, because it was such a small company. Like I said, it was a startup, so that means it was very, very new. But the idea of working for such a small company appealed to me, because I'd worked for quite big organizations before that. But when I met with Dan and he explained to me what his vision was and how Book Creator worked, I thought this is going to be really exciting to work on, and we'd have a lot of freedom to do what we wanted. And then obviously one of the really good things about working for this company is that I get to travel while I work, so I don't have to work in one office. For the last 5 years, I've been traveling with my family and working remotely. So like you do remote learning, I do remote working. You know, I take my laptop with me wherever I go, and I've been all over Thailand and Hong Kong and Japan and Australia and New Zealand and all over Europe. And I'm really lucky that I'm able to do my work from anywhere. So that's what I love about working for Book Creator.
How long does it take to write a newsletter?
That newsletter that I write once a month takes me about 2 hours to write, I think, and put it all together. I have a little bit of help from some of my colleagues, but it's up to me to put it on the website, and then I email it out to around 200,000 people, which is a lot of people. So I'm quite nervous when I press that button and say send. I'm like, I really hope I got this right, because it's going out to this many hundreds of thousands of people. One mistake and.
When was Book Creator made?
So it was originally made in 2011. So this year is our 10th anniversary, actually. So we're thinking about what we can do to celebrate.
Okay.
But yeah, it officially launched on the Apple App Store in September 2011.
You get the idea for all the features, recording, like drawing, like videos. How do you make these features?
Okay, Max, so I guess it's a mixture of things, really. Some of the ideas we come up with as a team, as we sit and talk about what would be good to do. Obviously, we listen to what teachers and students tell us that they want and what would be useful for them. We also look at what other apps maybe are missing and aren't doing, so we can put those into our app and kind of have an advantage over other apps and what they're missing. So it's a mixture of things, really, but it's very much driven by how you want to use it in the classroom. So, you know, we get ideas from you guys and try and build them based on that, because if we just did it in our own way, then it might not be useful for you.
Your question, Juliet, you're next.
Can you read it?
I can. So you asked, what was one of the most surprising things you learned creating Book Creator?
Yeah, this is my favorite question, I think. So let me take you behind the scenes. This is what we call mission control in Book Creator. So I get to look at all kinds of things behind the scenes here. One of the things I can see is the most popular emojis and the most popular auto draw items that are chosen. And then I was looking at, you know, when you type in an image, when you search for an image in Book Creator, and I was wondering, well, I wonder what the most popular search thing is. What do kids search for when they're looking for an image? Does anyone want to have a guess what they think it might be?
Candy.
Candy, yeah, maybe. That's a good guess. Let me narrow it down for you, okay? So if you had to guess between dogs and cats, which one do you think would be more popular?
Cats.
Dog.
Dogs.
Dogs.
One thinks dogs.
Dogs.
Well, look,
It's dogs.
here's the list. Yeah, and you're right. Dogs is number one. Cats is second. I've always liked cats more than dogs, so I was quite sad and surprised to see that. Apparently dogs are more popular than cats, so that was the most surprising thing for me.
And Among Us.
Yeah,
School.
it's funny, eh?
Minecraft, Fortnite.
Yeah,
Earth.
you kids, this is what you look for.
What were your expectations for a Book Creator? What are your goals?
Yeah, that's a really nice question. I guess some of our big goals is to bring creativity to people. We want teachers and students to have fun while they're learning. So hopefully you had fun when you were making these books. And we want you to be able to share what you do, you know, outside the class, share it with the world, which you can do in Book Creator. And hopefully that when you do that, it makes you more excited and more motivated to do your best work when you know that people all around the world are going to read what you've written. That's some of the things that kind of drives us and makes us do what we want, do what we do.
Oh, that's great. I think that was one of the most exciting parts too, is knowing that you get to share and you have that authentic audience. And so that's what we're saying is really a cool part of this project for us.
Yeah.
Was Book Creator successful when you started working there? If not, how long did it take to get successful?
Yeah, it depends what you mean by successful, doesn't it? But I did ask Dan when I started, like, how are you doing as a company? And he said, yeah, we're doing good. And so pretty much straight away, it was successful in terms of it was making money on the App Store, and so we could start employing more people and not worry about having to. What you often have to do with companies like Book Creator is you have to go and get funding. So you need to get money to invest in it. But we didn't need to do that because Book Creator was really popular already. And we sold lots and lots of copies of it in the first few years. And I guess that helped us to stay in control of what we do, make our own decisions. And I think in the last few years, we've got really successful. We've been able to employ lots more people. So we've got over 20 people working for Book Creator now, whereas there was only me and Dan for the first 4 or 5 years. So yeah, we're able to go a lot faster and make lots more stuff happen now.
My other question is, has a teacher ever given you an idea for a Book Creator feature? For an example, the drawing tool?
Yeah, all our best ideas come from teachers. So yeah, definitely. I think very early on, there was one teacher in particular who gave us all the ideas, like, oh, you should record audio. We want to hear the kids speaking. We want to be able to combine books, that kind of thing. And I think that teacher gave us about a year of what we call a roadmap. You know, what are we going to develop over the next year? And she gave us everything in that very early on, because she was very clever.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, how did you get in the current position as a marketing manager at Book Creator?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm going to share my screen for this one, if that's okay. You can see this. So, you know, most people, when you apply for a job, you have to fill out. Yeah, you have to fill out what's called a CV, right? So instead of filling out a CV, which you normally do, and you write your work experience and your education is. So that what I decided, I wouldn't write a CV, I would write a book and send it to Dan. So this is what I did. So this was the story of me seeing, or this is what I was doing before. I was working for the Church of England, and I found Dan's advertisement asking for a marketer. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that sounds like me, and I will apply. And we all lived happily ever after. And that was my story. So I sent that to Dan, and obviously, and then I put in my skills and my work experience and my education. So I went to university in Birmingham in England, and I studied business and public policy. And some parts of that included marketing and all kinds of other things. So I didn't have a particularly marketing focused degree, but I had a lot of experience that helped me do the kind of work that Dan would need from me. And honestly, in those early days when you do that kind of job, you have to do a bit of everything, because it's what's called a startup company, where there's only a very few people working in the company. So you kind of have to do a little bit of everything. So I would do the website, and I would make videos, and I would do Twitter and Facebook posts. You have to be able to be really flexible for this kind of job.
Were you on the book creator team while it was still getting made?
So it was already made before I joined. So like I said, Dan built the app in 2011 and I joined in 2013. So about a year and a half afterwards, when it had grown and he couldn't do everything by himself, he needed some help to do the marketing and all the other stuff while he was busy coding.
Did you ever have to code?
So I do a little bit of coding, but not on the app. Or if I do coding, it's on the website. So like if I'm working on the newsletter, so this is the newsletter from March. So this is the one where we put your book in. And this is our website. So if I show you what this looks like, if I edit it, hang on. You'll see that I don't have to do a lot of coding, but you need to understand how all of this works. So you can see, like, here's the layout of the newsletter, all these things down here. So this is making the code for me, but sometimes I have to go in and code it myself. So if I putting the text in, you can see this code in here. This is called HTML. So it's the language that you use to code websites. So I have to know how to do that. But luckily I have this this builder to help me build things for me. So I don't have to do all the coding myself.
Did you help make the newsletter?
I did. So the newsletter, this is me. Look, there's my face. That's me. So I have to build this every month in our website.
Any special skills to join the book creator team?
Yeah, this is an excellent question. I had to really think about how to answer this. I think if you're going to be in the engineering team, then obviously you're going to need to know how to code. So you need to probably be a software developer. But we have lots of other roles in design and marketing and sales. And I think if you're going to join those teams, it's not so much about having the right qualifications, but yeah, the kind of skills you need, like good communication, being able to work with other people, maybe good writing skills, and problem solving, that kind of thing. They're the things that really are important. And I was thinking back to, so when I was your age, if you imagine, we had computers, but we didn't have any internet. There were no websites, no social media, no Facebook or anything like that. So how could I ever train for the job that I was going to do now? Because none of that existed. And it makes me wonder, what will it be like for you guys in 30 years from now? What jobs will you be doing, or what technology will you have that doesn't exist yet? Something to think about. So you've got to have the kind of skills that you can use in any situation.
Emmy,
what was the likelihood of two people working at Book Creator being named Dan?
Yeah, I don't know. What is the likelihood? It's not just the first two. Actually, the first three people at Book Creator were called Dan. And we used to joke that if your name wasn't Dan, then you weren't going to get a job at Book Creator. But luckily, after that, we did employ some other people whose names weren't Dan. So you can see all these other people here. But yeah, Dan, it's a very trustworthy name. If you work with a Dan, they're very, very reliable. So I recommend it.
How long did it take to make a book creator? Do you think it will ever be done, or will you keep adding on?
Yeah, I don't think it will ever be done, but maybe. I think so. The original version of Book Creator, I think it took about 6 months to build in 2011. So I don't think we'll ever be done, but I think a lot of the main things that we wanted to put in there are now in there. And I just think I need to think about what would we do next. I think it'd be really, it'd be really great if we could make some sort of template, so you could like make a glowing book, and then you could go into it and it would take you to other dimensions. How about that? Yeah, thumbs up. That's what I'd like to do next, but I don't know how easy that is to code. I'll have to talk to the engineers about that.
While Book Creator was in development, was there any bugs in the code that had to be worked out?
Yes, there's always bugs in software. That's something to know. And the trick is finding them before anyone else does. So we've got a member of our team. I'll show you this guy, Phil. His job is literally to break Book Creator, and that is a real job. So he has to try and break it, and then let us know how he managed to do it. We also built a robot which we call Kidtron, which it's not a real physical robot, but it's a program that it will use Book Creator in random ways and try and find mistakes in the code or bugs that we wouldn't normally find. So I asked the engineering team how many bugs are there at the moment, and they reckon there's about 154 bugs in Book Creator, but they're all so minor that you would probably never come across them. But if you followed a certain specific set of actions, then you might come across one. So if you ever do find a bug, please let me know and we'll fix it.
And also, has anybody ever used the ability to draw on emojis like I did to create characters?
Not that I've seen. I think it was a really, really clever idea. So if that was your idea, well done, because yeah, it's very creative. I haven't seen it before.
Thank you.
And I can't go before I ask, like, what you think we should do next in Book Creator. What features should we be adding in?
Oh,
any ideas?
Oh, Emmy, let's start with you.
I think you should actually add the feature that lets the book glow, like make pages glow.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Or do you already have that because you have so many features?
And then you really could make a glowing book.
Is there a feature that you can add like effects, like sparkles or like a glowing effect or something?
So something that's animated, you mean? It's
Yes.
kind of moving. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think we will be adding that soon. Yeah.
Probably make it a bit easier to get a sound effect onto the thing. Like you don't have to upload it. Like the picture search for, but for sound effects.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Colin. I like that. I'll make sure I tell the team that. A library of sound effects, yeah.
Maybe you can add some like feature where you can animate stuff. And like without using other apps to animate. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
If you like add an animate, like you could put like voice like effects, like whatever you type in him, it'll go invisible and it'll say like in his voice what he says out loud.
Okay. So like text to speech, but in different voices for that characters.
Like on the animate people.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe like when you put the backgrounds in, like you could have a sound effects that could probably go with the background in the scene, like of the book.
And so when you turn the page, it plays a little sound effect because of the background. You guys did a great job of adding sound effects actually, and properly crediting and then attributing them as well. I thought that was very very smart. I always love seeing when they're printed. Like it's quite a rare thing to see, and it shows you kind of the power of what's possible with that, I think. For sure. So yeah, I think we'll definitely get to that at some point.
Once again, thank you so much, because this has been really, really exciting. We've learned a lot of information. I think it's probably inspired some of our students to think about the future and what they might enjoy doing. And we're really happy that we got to be a part of this. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, that was great. I'll see you all in 10 years when you're looking for a job.
Go.